size and shape that you can put on, like underneath or on the inside of your whatever you're wearing, right? And just take off when you want to wash it. And this one uses the low voltage version of Mega 328. Another interesting thing, Arduino, which is basically Arduino that you can plug in directly to your breadboard, which is no different than connecting a regular version with wires, but it fits in nicely. And it might be smaller than just connecting multiple things to the breadboard. Arduino that is kind of interesting, though I looked into it, it doesn't really have that many features. The main feature is that every pin, digital pin and analog pin, has a neighboring ground and voltage pins, so it's good when you want to connect servos, for example, or I don't know, switches, things like this. It might be easier to just plug it in, don't have to have multiple wires.
Probably made for servos, because a bunch of robots are based entirely on servos, like those humanoid ones, and they're all 3-pin things.
Does that have a motor driver on it?
No, actually it doesn't. No, there is a version. There are bigger versions with motor drivers, integrated Zigbee protocol things, Bluetooth, stuff like that. This is a cool one, though it's not longer produced. I wanted to show it anyways because it came along long before Arduino Mega, and it's in size of regular Arduino Nova. It has much more digital inputs, and it looks cool. It has nice shiny LEDs here, which you can't really see, but they're there. Okay, so that's for the microcontroller boards. But the other thing is sometimes you want to have, like Jimmy mentioned, like Microcontroller, and it's not there. So you can expand those boards with so-called shields, and there are several of them. This is a cool motor controller board, so it can control 2 servos, 2 steppers, 4 DC motors, and has lots of different features. I'm just going to skip through that and look at it later maybe. This is a cool thing. This is a battery pack, so no more batteries. It's a lithium battery pack, which charges through USB, and so it's integrated with a charging circuit. This is Arduino XB Shield. There are different versions of it. Actually, this is a different one. What it's used for? It's for XB cards. Basically, it's wireless mesh networks. So if you want to have multiple robots that just swarm around and communicate, for example, or if you want to wirelessly communicate without using Bluetooth, you can use that instead. It's just that you need 2 XP modules based on Zigbee protocol. One for the PC, one for your robot. Yeah, this is a different version, smaller, nicer one. What you'll notice is with some of those boards, you put them on and they block all your pins. So I wouldn't call it a good design, because either you have to solder in your own headers on top of it to use the pins that they are not using, or I don't know, it doesn't make much sense for me. But there it is. This is a cool thing, Ethernet shield. So basically, you can run regular IP stack TCP UDP off Arduino. So you can create a simple web server, for example. You can tweet your messages. I don't know, for example, measure temperature and put it on Twitter, or post it to your WordPress blog or whatever. And there's lots of cool applications for that. And okay, that would be it. There's a list of sites that have even more, lots of information about Arduino, some products that you can get, some different shields, boards, projects as well. And yeah, that would be it. Thank you for listening. And if anyone has any questions.
Did you end up yourself, so you got it working in the end, right, with controlling the interrupts yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, and did you do that by just sticking code in to directly access the registers in their setup or their loop?
Actually, I found a library for it, but I looked inside and it's basically the very same thing as setting up the mini board or regular Arduino 168. So, as I said, it's good for people who don't want to look inside. They just want something that works off the bat.
Okay. So were you able to? Did you call one of their functions, or did you actually put some code right in there? Like, could you actually directly call like, could you almost do stuff like we do in AVR Studio, like access registers and
yes, you can do all that. It's just that in AVR Studio you can see the values directly, right, when it's running, when you're debugging, for example. And here it doesn't have that functionality, but once you import the same libraries that you usually use with AVR Studio, you can do the same thing, basically.
Okay, great.
Though I didn't do it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
You
problem.
know, the libraries are like, it's pretty much C-based, aren't they? Like, can you import them into other?
Yes. Yeah, you
other
could import them.
into your C code?
Sorry?
Can you import the libraries that are written for the Arduino into other C codes?
Yes, you can. It's just that with those libraries, sometimes certain application needs a timer. Someone wrote it using one of the timers.
Yeah.
It can conflict with some other stuff that someone else is using, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually sometimes better to just do it yourself than using what's there, because it might create more problems than it solves.
Great. Okay. Right. Thanks. Okay. Let's get the